Okay, so we're diving into Lestallion's 50 journal prompts for March.
50 journal prompts.
I know who has time for that, but
Oh,
maybe we don't need to do all 50 to get something out of this.
yeah.
So we're going to take a deep dive today and see if we can unlock some wisdom from March without, doing every single prompt.
Yeah, and it's Lestallion, which is interesting.
Yeah.
They're a lifestyle brand. They're not like self-help gurus or anything.
Right. It's not just about introspection. It's about connecting it to, how we actually live our lives.
Exactly.
And this article is super timely. It just came out yesterday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Like they knew we needed some fresh reflection.
Exactly. Okay, so one prompt that jumped out at me from their March reflection section was, how did the weather affect your mood and activities in March? It seems kind of simple at first, but I feel like there's a lot there. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's easy to underestimate how much our environment, even subtly, can shape our days, like a couple of sunny days in a row. And I feel like a totally different person.
Yeah.
Like I want to be outside.
Yeah.
I want to be more active, but like gray skies.
Yeah.
Let's just say I'm very familiar with my couch when the weather's like that.
Yeah.
And then, of course, that impacts, how productive I am, the activities I choose. It's all connected.
Totally.
What about you? Did any weather patterns stand out to you this past month?
Oh, totally. Remember that random heat wave we had early March?
Oh, yeah.
It felt like everyone just forgot it was winter and we all flocked outside.
Yeah.
It made me realize how much I crave that sunshine,
Yeah.
It's not even just about the mood boost, but
Yeah.
the social energy it brings out.
I love that you picked up on that social aspect because it makes me think about the next prompt, which is, who did you spend the most time with this March and why? Again, seems kind of simple, but it's about understanding the why behind our connections.
I almost skimmed over that one, but the why is so important. It changes the whole thing.
Yeah.
It's like a gut check on your priorities. Are we spending time with these people out of obligation or convenience, or is it genuine connection?
Exactly. And I think it can also reveal a lot about what we might be seeking, even subconsciously in our relationships. Where we drawn to people who energize us or challenge us or offer comfort?
Yeah.
Are we prioritizing relationships that align with our values and goals?
Yeah.
It's a lot to unpack from one little question.
Yeah, it really makes you think about who you're giving your time and energy to. It really makes you think about, where your energy is going and who you're spending your time with.
Yeah. And speaking of energy, let's move on to Lestallion's March Achievement section.
Okay.
I like how they're approaching this. It's not about chasing some big success or anything. It's about noticing and appreciating those little wins that make life, more enjoyable, richer.
Yeah, they even have a prompt about the best meal you cooked or ate in March.
Right.
At first I was like, really, that's an achievement, but then it made me think about their whole philosophy.
It's so true. It's about finding those moments of joy in the everyday, those simple pleasures that nourish us. It's so easy to get caught up, striving for the next big thing that we forget to appreciate all those little things that, actually make life enjoyable.
Yeah, it's not even just about the food itself, right? It's about being present and mindful and appreciating those little moments of sensory pleasure.
Exactly. And I think that ties back to, what we were talking about earlier with balance.
Yeah.
It's not about, neglecting ambition or anything. It's just about finding the joy in the journey as well as, reaching for those goals.
Right. It's not always sunshine and roses and gourmet meals.
Exactly.
So I appreciate that Lestallion doesn't shy away from the tough stuff either. They have a whole section about March challenges.
They do.
How do they approach that?
Well, one prompt that I thought was really insightful was, what lesson did March teach you about resilience? Because it's so easy to get kind of stuck in that cycle of, setbacks and frustration. And this prompt really encourages us to shift our perspective and look for the opportunity for growth in any challenge.
Yeah, I love that it's that quote, reflect on the past, but keep your gaze on the possibilities ahead or something like that.
Yes.
It's acknowledging those challenges happen, but not letting them define us.
Exactly.
It's less about dwelling and more about, okay, what did I learn? What can I take away from this? How can I use this to grow?
Right.
And that growth mindset is so important.
It is.
You're not just trying to survive the challenge, you're trying to learn from it and grow from it.
Exactly. You're turning those stumbling blocks into stepping stones. And you know what can really help with that?
Right.
Gratitude. It might seem kind of counterintuitive to think about gratitude when we're, struggling with challenges.
Yeah.
But that's exactly what Lestallion wants us to do.
It's true. They have a whole section about it. And they don't even just say, what are you grateful for?
Right.
There's one prompt that says, what piece of art or culture, movie, music, art, inspired you in March?
Oh, I love that
Hmm,
one.
I know, it's so
It
good.
reminds us that, like, inspiration is everywhere.
Yeah,
And, sometimes tapping into that, especially like creative sources, could be just what we need to boost our well-being.
totally. It's like that feeling you get when you see a great movie or you hear an amazing song for the first time.
Yes.
And it just like shifts your energy a little bit.
Exactly. It gives you a new perspective, even if it's just for a moment.
Yeah, and suddenly that problem you were facing doesn't feel so big anymore. Exactly. It's all about finding those pockets of beauty and inspiration and then using them to, boost our creativity and our resilience.
I love that. Okay, so we've talked about reflection, achievement challenges, gratitude. It seems like Lestallion is encouraging a really mindful and intentional approach to life.
Definitely.
But how do we actually put all this into practice?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? It's one thing to like reflect on these things,
Yeah.
but it's another to actually take action and make some changes.
Right.
And Lestallion does have a looking forward section, but I think the message here is bigger than just like setting some goals for April.
What do you mean?
I think it's about carrying this sense of reflection and intention with us all the time.
Oh, okay.
Like, how can we be more present, more grateful, more resilient in our everyday lives,
Yeah.
not just in March, I love that it's not just about checking things off a to-do list. It's like a way of life.
Exactly. And hey, if having a beautiful journal helps with that, Lestallion does make some beautiful journal.
I know, I'm picturing myself now, like, with a colorful journal, thoughtfully journaling.
Whatever works, right?
Yeah,
The important thing is that you find what resonates with you and you make it your own.
I love that.
So, to everyone listening, we'd love to know what resonated with you. What insights are you taking away from this deep dive? Because even we learned a lot from this conversation.
I know, me too.